And more arrows coming over, possibly to shoot me for that last remark. And of course, somewhere in de Montfort's army,
I can now see de Montfort himself and his cavalry. They're bringing up the rear of the baronial forces. And now the two armies are facing each other across the battlefield. The royal troops on the top of Green Hill. The baronial troops have come out the town to face them. The royal troops greatly outnumber de Montfort's army, so de Montfort really has a battle on his hands. I can see Edward has been riding up and down his battle line there to cheer his men on. I don't know if de Montfort will be doing the same.
the Royal Army is split into three separate battles. I apologise to anyone who could lip read what I just said then. This microphone has given me a few hard times. So the Royal Army is split into three separate battles, one led by the young Prince Edward, one led by de Clare, and one led, I believe, by Mortimer.
De Montfort there riding along the back of the army, giving him an enormous cheer! Even if you support King Edward, he is a glorious figure, this man.
Oh, bad omen, one of de Montfort's men. Unassisted dismount.
That's the trouble with medieval knights, you can fall off your horse.
The horse is being immensely sensible. The horse has gone straight to his herd. No harm done.
So the armies are, you would probably think by modern terms, impossibly close. But of course there's no firearms in the 13th century. What the troops do have is archers, not a lot of them, but there are some archers, but there's no firearms, so really there's no point in the army standing a very long way apart.
Yes, as we know, the first known use of black powder was around about 1399, so well after the time of this battle, at least in Europe.
Now the pause before the battle begins. The commanders home. It must have been terrifying for de Montfort's troops, realising that they have only one chance to get out of this trap, because if they retreat back into Evesham, there's no way out. Because the one bridge over the River Avon, Benchworth Bridge, has been blocked by royal troops who have come down behind them. So they are now, I don't want to say rats in a trap, but effectively that's what they are. They probably don't know, though, that King Edward has issued this order not to show any mercy. So they probably think we might stand a chance in this battle if we get captured or if we manage to fight our way out. Of course, the poor bloody infantry, the PBI, the ordinary foot soldiers, they are expendable. Really, the only thing that really matters are the knights. They are the knights that think that chivalry is alive, and if they get into a tight spot, well, they could always surrender to Edward's troops and be ransomed and pay a large sum of money for their freedom. They don't know that Edward has other ideas, and a lot of de Montfort's knights are going to die horribly on this field, wondering whatever happened to chivalry.
Bridge is open. We don't know why de Montfort didn't then try and escape via the bridge. We assume maybe he felt now he was in a position where he had to engage. Maybe it was honour, maybe it was something else. We probably won't ever know.
Unfortunately, by the time he really thought about going across that bridge, Montfort's cavalry charging towards us. Infantry! Sensibly standing back and letting the cavalry get on with it. Because if you're an infantryman, the last thing you want to do is get in the way of a heavily armoured mounted knight because you will simply be trampled. However, the infantry are cheering on their knights.
I can see young Prince Edward in there. He's getting stuck into the action. And the twin-tailed lion, I can see that there on the red shield, the white twin-tailed lion. De Montfort leading slightly from the rear, as a lot of good generals do. And Edward disengages, leads his cavalry off the field. De Montfort takes his to a safe distance as well, probably to the top of some higher ground so he can see what's going on. Just recoup and reorganise what's going to happen next.
I imagine, yes, it looks like the archers are starting to engage them, so we've had the initial clash of cavalry. They've now withdrawn to reorganise themselves to fight once again, and the archers are opening up with their long-range arrows. Not a lot of archers at Evesham, but enough to cause damage to the enemy army.
And the archers, they're not using the arrows as sniping, they are just lofting them to see how many people they can hit. Sort of raining down death from above.
It's very much a case of you put enough arrows in the air, eventually it's going to hit somebody or more.
Absolutely, that's the beauty of the English longbow. It's such an efficient weapon because you can put so much death into the air at one time.
So, Kat, I think you're positioned with the baronial army. How do they look? Do you think they look confident?
Well, I've got to say, they look resigned to their fate, Howard, if I'm honest. There's a very flat feeling here. I think they have a feeling there is a job here to be done, but the spirit really isn't particularly up or warlike. How's the King's army looking?
I have to say that they're looking very confident because they know all they actually have to do is hold their position. They don't really have to do anything else. They shouldn't even be here. But here we go, the troops are engaging. Ladies and gentlemen, whichever side you support, give them a cheer!
We've seen three well-organised battles of the King's side, going at some speed against the very much less well-organised De Montfort side, and they're going in there at the run and they engage. And the King's side, of course, having been given the instructions, no mercy, no quarter to be given, and that is very, very unusual in battles of this time. You can hear the shouting of the commanders, you can hear the shouting of the men, I can hear screaming. I can hear manly, warlike growling. You're not supposed to giggle at that. He is there somewhere. I mean, they're keeping him as a hostage, but what could be more amusing to De Montfort than to have the King in a place where he's at risk and nobody knows who he is?
To make matters worse, I gather that he's actually been forced to wear some De Montfort's heraldry, so he's not even wearing his regal regalia, which makes it much more dangerous for him.
We just have to hope that he can shout loudly enough for his own troops to understand who he is, that he's not bluffing.
Absolutely. Now the troops have drawn aside again, most of them, some are still engaged. In an infantry fight like this, it's about preserving your ranks and files. It's really important. If you lose your cohesion, your troops will be defeated. So these troops are being very, very careful to not get out of control. It does mean drawing aside and living to fight another day, so there will always be pauses amongst the infantry. There's another infantry group fighting on the right flank of Edward's army, and the centre of Edward's army is now starting to retire. Well, I think, yes, in fact, the Democrat troops, infantry are retiring as well. They failed in their initial clash with the enemy. And now they're pulling back to allow the cavalry to get involved again.
They'll be withdrawing in order to tend to their wounded, to drag the dead away, or you'd think for burial later, but we don't know where half of these men were buried. We do know that just over the way there's been some archaeological excavations in the last few months which have turned up some interesting things. Who knows what they've turned up? Is it a mass burial pit? We don't know.
Right, I think the cavalry are waiting for the infantry to get out of the way. And I believe there'll be another clash. And yes, everybody's starting to move forward with his cavalry. It looks like we've got another cavalry clash coming up in the centre of the battlefield. Here we go. The army's crying out, De Montfort or Henry or Edward to support their side. De Montfort seem to be the loudest side so far. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support Simon de Montfort's army in this horrendous battle, after 3 I want you to shout, De Montfort, alright? So we'll try that. And of course, if you don't do a very good job, it'll only doom his army, so you really must try very hard. So after 3, De Montfort, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's pretty good, but there must be some royal supporters here in the crowd as well. So let's have a big cheer for Edward. So after 3, shout Edward. 1, 2, 3. Edward! Oh, it looks like we actually have more royal supporters.
I think there are more royal supporters there as well by the sound of it.
Yeah, that's terrific, isn't it?
Maybe they've had a look at the history books and worked out who wins.
This is good. I suppose really King Henry is probably a bit depressed now. He's thinking, not only am I being a prisoner of De Montfort's troops, but nobody's shouting for me. They're all shouting for my son Edward instead. So let's give Henry a bit of a cheer as well, because Henry's very depressed. It's not a very good day for him. He's been a captive for several months. So if you support our king by divine right, it's King Henry, a third of his name. After 3, shout Henry. 1, 2, 3. Henry, that's not too bad. Not as many people shouting for Henry as for Edward, but that really reflects how it was at the time. The archers are now opening up again, another barrage of arrows flying through the air while the infantry catch their breath. Lots of pauses in the infantry combat, because it's only when you start to get tired that the casualties start to mount. So if you can keep the troops as fresh as possible, you preserve your force. And by golly, De Montfort needs to preserve his men, because he really needs to find a strategy, a way of smashing through the Royal Army. And at the moment, his head-on attack has failed.
I think De Montfort's only real way of standing any kind of chance is concentrate all of his force in one narrow point and see if he can smash his way out through the Royal Army.
Could it be that Simon the Younger could have attacked the Royal Army from the rear? That's the worst possible thing that could happen to a medieval army, being attacked from the rear. We saw what happened back in Wars of the Roses battles like Barnet, where due to confusion, some troops from one side actually attacked their own side at the back, and the whole army disintegrated. This could have happened here if Simon the Younger had only kept on marching instead of stopping for breakfast.
It's almost faster, isn't it?
It is, but this is what happens in an age before instant communications. So, the De Montfort troops are going forward for a second attack. They're still going forward in line. They think they can match the royal troops man for man. This is not how I would do it. Troops are engaging hand-to-hand now, trying to work out whether the man directly opposite them is a stronger man or a more skilled fighter than he is. Those troops that are inexperienced will be trying to hang back a bit. Those that are experienced fighters will be getting stuck in, each trying to get the advantage over the other side, but at the same time trying to keep the cohesion in the line. Keep the line, keep steady, don't break, press the enemy, whatever you do, don't fragment. You end up with lots of soldiers fighting each other, either side to gain any advantage, and all you'll end up with is a pile of corpses. Nobody wins. But both sides know this. That's why these lines have been kept quite tight, and unlike your Hollywood movie where the medieval knights charge all over the place, that is simply rubbish, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you actually fight in lines, with commanders right in the midst telling the soldiers what to do.
This is quite a different fighting stance from later on in the Wars of the Roses, because these guys are all wearing padding, or some of them, they're all wearing padding, but some of them are wearing mail on top. You haven't got a great deal of any plate armour. The only areas they've got into the plate are the helmets. And they've all got the large shields as well. It makes a completely different fighting style to the very heavily armoured members that we'd see 200 years later.
Now, in the actual battle of Evesham, we don't really know what happened because the Chronicles all disappeared and nobody bothered to write down exactly who did what to whom, when and where. But we can probably guess that the actual battle of Evesham as a major battering ram is statute to the enemy forces, which is obviously something we can't deal with because it can be too dangerous. So we get the idea of the coming back with how incredible sturdy and confused the battle would have been. The infantry in the centre man, engaged now, hand to hand, back up to the crest of Green Hill. They know all they want to do is stop the one from escaping.
So Montfort knew how bad things were. One of the more authentic sounding reports of before the battle has him saying, "Let us commend our souls to God, for our bodies are theirs."
Which is an alarming thing to say, really. I hope I didn't say that too loud. He would have demoralised his men.
It would, but I think it was realistic.
I think he was being realistic, yes. Perhaps he just had a feeling that this was not going to go well. To make matters worse, a huge thunderstorm broke out just at the start of the battle, so not only were the soldiers terrified and tired, they were also extremely wet. And Edward and his troops are going forward again. Cheer the cavalry, ladies and gentlemen, they love it.
De Montfort's troops are shouting and screaming, trying to egg on their increasingly tiring cavalry.
Now it looks like De Montfort's cavalry are getting the worst of this engagement, although it's quite difficult to tell exactly what's happening, because it is a swirling mass of cavalry, and it would have been a swirling mass of hundreds of cavalry on the 4th of August 1265. You can imagine how confused that would have been. The infantry cheering their cavalry, lots of cries for De Montfort. Quite interesting actually, maybe they're shouting for Dutch courage, maybe they're genuinely enthused that their leader will lead them to another great victory like the Battle of Lewes last year. Edward's troops, on the other hand, they're quite silent. Maybe they're silent because they know they've got the enemy where they want them. They don't need to shout very much.
Of course, as the historian told us this morning at the replay, the Welsh troops that they actually had on their side were starving hungry, because Welsh hospitality says if you go into someone's house, you will get fed, you'll get watered, provided you leave your weapons outside. Having been given the instructions, no mercy, no quarter to be given. And more arrows coming over, possibly to shoot you for that last remark. Of course, somewhere in De Montfort's army now, I was going to make a facetious comment about it. I'll buy a pint for the first archer to take the drone out, but I think I won't say that.
Now the armies look fairly evenly matched on our reenactment battlefield, but in reality, as Cathy said, de Montfort's army was heavily outnumbered. We don't actually know by how many, but it's probably something in the region of 2 to 1, or perhaps even 3 to 1, with the royal troops having the greater number. And that does make Simon's predicament all the worse.
Of course, the sad thing is, for Simon anyway, if he'd have managed to get through to where Simon the Younger was, he'd have had all these Welsh troops, another 5,000 or so Welsh troops waiting for him. And it would have made the whole thing a great deal fairer.
It would indeed, but Edward's lightning attack on Kenilworth Castle on the 1st of August really put paid to that. Although Simon the Younger has recovered from that attack and has moved to Ulster, it's only 9 miles away, so de Montfort's reinforcements are just 9 miles away. What's that? 3 hours march. Simon the Younger has decided to stop for breakfast. He doesn't know that his dad is in trouble at Evesham. If he had instant communications like today, he would be force marching his troops to meet up with Simon de Montfort at Evesham. But even if he had, he would have discovered the royal army in between him and his father. Just standing there, dedicated to orders. And this is one of the things that happen in medieval battles. This is really what gets in the way of communications between the groups of troops. If you've got different divisions of soldiers, they will be doing different things because they're led from the front. There's no overall, although there is an overall commander on each side, really once the battle is joined, there's not a lot he can do.